Hey guys, this is Max Wilson with Max Wilson Fishing. I'm super excited to be sharing this video with you today. Finally going to do an all-tell-all live scope video for you guys. I'm going to give you the when, I'm going to give you the where, I'm going to give you the how. I'm going to show you guys just how we've been lighting the tournament world and the walleye world on fire with the Garmin Livescope. So stay tuned. So I've been getting a lot of questions, whether it's on my fishing page, personal page, people on the street. Everyone just wants to know about this new Garmin Livescope. Basically, I wanted to take a moment and show you guys exactly how I set mine up. Probably the most common question I get is, number one, how do I mount it? How do I mount it on a pole? Do I have a separate pole? Do I have a pole off my trolling motor, or do I mount it straight to the trolling motor? And there's a lot of really great options out there, but how I found it personally and how it's worked for me is I like to mount it straight to my trolling motor. They have that new perspective mount that just came out this year, which is an absolute awesome option, and that's what I've been using. So it is actually on the shaft, a little bit above the actual head of the trolling motor. Last year I had it directly on the head, and the reason why I do this over a pole that I can turn, everyone asks, well Max, what about when you spot lock? To be 100% honest with you, and I'm gonna show you today, I very rarely spot lock anymore, because what Livescope has taught me is these walleyes are always constantly on the move, and with the trolling motor I can sit there and constantly chase these fish. If I pluck a fish out of a school, that school usually moves about 100 feet, so very rarely am I sitting in one place. So I can use that trolling motor and I can go into hunt mode, and I can adjust the boat, control the boat's positioning based off of my trolling motor. And the trolling motor that I choose, I don't have any sponsor for trolling motor or anything, so I'm not here to push a product to you, but what I like is a type of trolling motor. Any cable steering trolling motor for me is what I need for my Livescope to be working at its fullest capacity. The cable steering is awesome because it has the memory in the foot pedal, and I'm always sweeping. As you'll see here in a minute when we go out and start whacking some big uns, when I'm always sweeping, I'm always searching. With a regular foot pedal, it's a lot more effort, it's a lot more jumpy, it's not as smooth. With this, I can sit there. If there's a fish off to my, say 1, 2 o'clock instead of straight in front of the boat, I can adjust the boat over, I can actually slide the boat over and bring the entire boat pointing into the wind if there is any wind. I'm making an accurate, precise cast at all times. The biggest thing with Livescope is I'm always dialed in, everything's smooth, I'm always on these fish, and I'm always giving the 100% best cast that I possibly can. And if I have wind, a crosswind, or anything like that, I get a bow in my line, I'm not working that bait exactly how I want to. So with that cable steering, I can slide over and I can get that boat positioned at all times. I'm making the best possible cast, and I'm putting myself in position to catch that fish. So that's huge for me. And the reason why I like that perspective mount, if you haven't played with it yet, it's awesome. Where I like to use it a lot, I like that regular forward view. Anytime summertime these fish are suspended, I'm pitching in it. That's probably what I use 90% of the time. But that perspective mode is awesome for shallow water. Like Lake Winnebago, I fish a lot of rock piles, unmarked rock piles. To be able to see that stuff and not sit on top of it, it's awesome to have that perspective mode, see where those fish are relating on top of it. So you have it, it's just a quick turn. The cool thing about these is you can adjust it, you can put it in down, you can put it in forward, you can put it in perspective real quick. The settings are marked, so you don't have to guess where you're at. It auto adjusts, so all you have to do, turn it and you're fishing. So that's how I like to run mine. So there's one thing I learned about walleyes in general, not just Green Bay walleyes where we're at today, but just walleyes in general. Once you get into those summer months, they start to suspend and they get into these big wolf packs. And when I'm saying wolf packs, past common knowledge, when you drive over them with the, with traditional sonar, 2D, downscan, all that jazz, you're seeing a handful of fish, 4 or 5, maybe 6 fish in a school. But what I've started to learn is they actually school up into these almost super schools. And we're seeing schools of 100, 200, 300 walleyes at a time, and you're actually spooking them with your boat. So every time a boat would come through trying to high-speed graph them, do anything, these fish would actually either push down to bottom or they'd scatter. So these fish are seeing these boats, especially up north, northern Door County where we're at today. The water is so clear, it's so crystal clear. These fish can see you, hear you coming from a mile away. So it's a lot easier and more productive to go through with your Livescope and see where those fish are adjusting and be able to make quiet casts on these fish so they're not being spooked and they're more apt to bite. So that's one thing, one way you can kind of use a 1-2 punch, go through, see where the rocks are. You can even see some fish sometimes, get a feeling if there's fish there, and then go through and then truly get an idea what's actually on this spot. Livescope just opens so many new possibilities, and if you use it right, you can catch a ton of fish. So I'm about to go show you just how to do it. Let's go catch some fish. 45 is about the max I try and go. You want to drop it right on them. So I cast it past them. So I want to reel up, drop it right on them. So I'm dropping right in them. It's dropping down. Go. So it's just like that. It's just reactionary strikes is what I'm talking about. This time of year, as far as bait selection, you want to drop it right in front of these fish's faces. It's a negative type of day. You know, we have a high pressure day. They don't really want to eat too much. And you're just dropping it in front of their face. It's just a reactionary strike. You're dropping it right in front of their nose, and they're just trying to see what the heck's right there. They're following it. They're getting excited about it. You can sit there, change your cadence, drop it right in their face. And if you're dropping it right on them, a lot of times you're going to trigger strikes that aren't normally going to happen. And that's a perfect example. They're feeding on these gobies. They're coming up and they're pinning it. And that's all they're thinking this is. You know, as far as bait selection, color is not so much important. It's more the shade for me. You know, Viper Custom makes a bunch of really good chrome baits. You know, on sunny days, chrome. Anytime you get a little overcast, I like to go goby. You know, just natural selection. Really just match what they're doing. And this is a gorgeous Green Bay walleye. This is exactly what we look for midsummer. You know, like I said, you saw those fish, potted up, saw them swimming around. All I did was snuck up on them, drop my bait right on top of them, and cause a reactionary strike. So it's really, once you get the hang of it, it's super simple. And you can really see how those fish are reacting. When I cast it on them, I don't know if you guys saw that, but those fish, they darted after that. That told me they're in a feeding pattern. You know, if they're slowing down a little bit, maybe I'll go to a jig and a minnow, I'll go to a jig and something. I'll do something a little bit different. But when you're trying to cause reaction strikes, any goby snap jigging baits are awesome to use. Get him back in the water. Oh. That one was ready to go back. So just a great way to do it. You know, we're gonna keep doing this, change it up a little bit, but I saw those fish, we're on a sand flat, drove around, nothing. All of a sudden we came on a wolf pack, 3, 4, 5 fish, dropped it on it, caught a fish. Simple, easiest situation to do it, and I absolutely love it. Got him. See, that was my third pitch on that school. Like I said, all you got to do is just keep pitching on them, keep putting it in front of their face, especially on these negative days. You just got to put it right in front of them enough time to where you get a feeding frenzy. What just happened right there was I had 6 or 7 fish chasing my bait all at one time. So you're sitting there, and it's kind of, you know, like a pack of dogs. Everyone's fighting for that bait, and once you get them riled up enough, eventually one of them's going to stick it. That's exactly what just happened. There's another beautiful Green Bay walleye. Look at that one. That's a good one right there. That is what you come up to Door County for. We just put it in front of this fish's face 3 times. You saw that. 3 casts, 15, 20 fish down there. All you had to do was get them riled up and get them to start chasing it. And that's exactly what happened. 6, 7 fish started chasing this. It became a competition, and this big girl won the competition. So that's what Livescope's all about. Finding these schools of big summertime walleyes, them roaming, whether it's sand flats, mud flats, whatever, finding exactly where they are and putting it right in front of their face until they decide to eat. That was a beautiful release of a 30-inch Door County summertime walleye. You know, that's exactly what this is all about. You know, that was so cool. Like I said, I saw that right off a piece of structure. There's a small hump on top of the sandbar. They were just transitioning off the edge of it. Big school, got them riled up, got them to eat. And we've been out here half hour now. We have 2 fish already. You know, it's just an awesome way to target actively feeding summertime walleyes. But bait style is super important for me. And as you saw, I've been doing a lot of reactionary strikes. That's probably my #1 favorite. I like to drop in on them, surprise them, see if I can't get them to go. So the few things that I like to do, there's 3 different styles that I like to use. is. You know, the number one is the moonshine shiver minnow, the tried and true, that's like the most popular in the world, right? If you look at it, I like to go a little more custom on, you know, my little darker colors like I was talking about. The goby colored is really, really good. You know, what this is kind of mimicking goby, you'll have different shades of goby. You'll have some that are really dark gobies, lighter brown gobies, you know, more orange belly, pink belly, all sorts of stuff. So Viper Custom Tackle actually has some really great colored goby patterns and some really great chrome patterns that really just knock it out of the park. But one of my favorite is this blacked out one. You know, you get the black, your little chartreuse a little bit, but the pink belly is what's key. You know, the pink and the orange belly is what the fish is seeing. You know, you're kind of matching a little bit of goby. You got a little bit of a darker color to it, a little darker shade. You know, especially on these little, once it's going a little overcast, I like to go to those darker, you know, more shadow type of baits. You know, and then when it's sunny, you can't go wrong with blue chrome. Blue chrome, whether it's on a jigging wrap, you know, or a moonshine shiver minnow, or even my new personal favorite is these Tika minnows from Clam. All these type of jigging type of baits, you know, you get that flash can be really good, but I like those really fast acting reactionary style baits. Those can be really good. They get a little darting and you're triggering a feeding bite, you know, from those fish. But there are times when those fish like to go a little finicky. And you know, I really have to give my partner Isaac Lockich credit on this next one. He really kind of dialed in something new that we started playing with this year, and this is a completely unsponsored post. This is something that we've kind of been playing with this year, made a lot of money off of it. You know, but it's a 1-2 punch. It is Walleye Nation's creation death jig. It is really, really good. You know, I was a little hesitant at first, you know, kind of the concept, casting a crawler harness, doesn't think it would work. But the slow death hook on the back with the blade, everything, it's a really good 1-2 punch with anything. You know, it doesn't even have to be this exactly. Anything with a jig and a crawler, a jig and a minnow, a jig and a, you know, something slow moving. You know, the slower action. With this, we cast it past the fish, reel it slowly, get that bait turning right past them, kind of get their reaction. If they're not eating those reactionary strikes and they're kind of a little sluggish, a little slower, you put like a nice crawler, a nice minnow, nice anything in front of their face. A lot of times you can trigger bites, you know, get them a little more interested and give them some more time to eat it. With this, you're dropping it in front of their face, you're jerking it really fast. If they don't like that right away, give them something slower, slow it down, fast, slow, fast, slow. It's a 1-2 punch. Make sure you're changing up. Don't get so distracted on colors. Get more distracted on your action and your speed and your cadence, and then dial in the colors after that. There we go. Same situation again. We got a little cloud cover, storm rolling in. Fish are a little more aggressive. I can get them to chase it a little bit more. And same thing, big school. You can see there's two more chasing it, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Wish it was like the bass roller, you could get 2 fish on 1 hook. I'm a little nervous because I keep losing fish. These things are just barely pinning it. They're not eating hard, you know, anymore. It's a negative day, and that's a really terrible side effect that you're gonna have with this technique, is you're gonna lose fish, unfortunately. It's the name of the game. We probably should have 6, 7, 8, 9 fish so far. But you know, you'll roll them, you get them halfway to the boat, you get a, you know, 1 ounce, ½ ounce bait, slide in their face. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is the door tunnel slab right here in the net. Yeah, so that's basically what we're talking about. That's why we come here, is for this. This is why Livescope is the bee's knees. So this is exactly what I was talking about, guys. You know, how I utilize my Livescope. Everyone does it differently. But like I said, boat control is key. Bait control is key for me. Those are the 2 most important aspects. You know, trying to trick these big gravel lizards into eating is one of the trickiest things in the world. You know, these summertime walleyes, they can be tough. But with the Livescope, it accelerates my learning process so much faster because I can actually physically see that they're there. I'm not just imagining, hoping, praying. I can physically see them there. I can see them chasing my bait. I can adjust to the cadence. I can adjust to their mood. I can adjust to everything. So, you know, like I said, guys, Garmin Livescope, one of the best things. It took me from an average fisherman to an above average fisherman. It can help everybody, young, old. It's like a video game. It is the most fun way to fish. Anytime you can watch one of these big old gravel lizards come up and munch your bait, there's no better feeling. better be like a 40. Biggest walleye I've ever done seen. The way you're acting. I switched the net. Dude, Cody, I can't stop her, bud. Oh.
Mega.
Let's go! Let's go! That right there is how you end the show. Garmin Livescope, I will say it once, I will say it a million times, is the most helpful tool in my walleye fishing arsenal. If you guys like this video and you guys like big walleyes, smash the subscribe button, hit like, hit share, share with your grandma, share with everyone. Follow Max Wilson Fishing because we got a lot more of these coming up. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this answered any questions you have. If you have any questions, always feel free, reach out to me. If not, make sure you pick up a Garmin Livescope, start catching a ton more of these.